A few years ago, a book-obsessed girl's mother said,
"You know, pretty soon they'll stop printing books altogether and the world will be overtaken by Kindles."
This girl, terrified by the prospect, took to Amazon to buy a physical copy of all her favorite books. The result? A bookshelf filled with the best books ever written, most of which without a single crack in the back. Unacceptable? Absolutely. Thus begins a year-long mission to read and review every single one in alphabetical order. Is she crazy? Probably. This is the Favorite Book Project 2015.
This week's book is the Anthology of Children's Literature. It's a big, giant, lovely book. It's so old. Look, it's like that. I think we got it at a yard sale. I've never seen this before. There's poems. There's fairy tales. There's like these cool sections where it's just tales from other countries, like folk tales, and it's so interesting and cool. This is the 1959 version of this book. This is the 1959 printing, third edition of this book. The first one was in 1935. I just read the foreword, and you can see some very interesting differences. Like, it's almost like through this book you can sort of see how the world changed in just 25 years. Because it was talking about how they had like a religious section in this book. There used to be just Old Testament writings, like Bible stories. And now it says that in this edition, in the 1959 edition, they've added on some like stuff from other religions, and so you can see how things are becoming more globalized and tolerant and integrated. Another thing is they expanded the section of folk tales from other countries, so now there's more countries involved, and you can just see how the world is kind of being knit closer together, even just in those 25 years. Another thing that's really fun about this book is that you learn about nursery rhymes and fairy tales and things that seem like they were very important back when this was written. Like, I'm just reading, I think it's the introduction or the foreword or something. I think it's the introduction. Anyway, where they like gave a clip of a snippet of this like song that they say is like some sort of game, and it seems like they assume you know it. It's something about Canterbury. I never heard of it before, and so it's interesting to get a different time's perspective and like learn about things that are older as opposed to the newer things. So there's a name in the front of this book. Obviously it was a school book because it says it's in Meadows Hall and room 212. Anyway, I looked that up. It looks like the only place possible is Wheaton College in Massachusetts, which is like light years away from me. I don't know how it got down here, but if you are watching this, I have your book from college. It's interesting because I was just reading, it's the introduction actually, and it's talking about how what makes good literature. It says the emotion of the author, the originality of concept, that's the one I struggle most with, the revelation of life, mastery of style. Those are the four things that make good literature. And I gotta say, there's like modern literature doesn't always have that, though I'm sure literature back in the olden days struggled with that sometimes too. It's the ones that have those things that end up enduring, I guess. Can someone explain the point of nursery rhymes to me? Are they just to grow vocabulary? Because, like, some of them are really mean. Like, this one says that, "There I met an old man who would not say his prayers. I took him by the left leg and threw him down the stairs." We're throwing old men down the stairs! Why? You're telling this to a 3-year-old? I guess they're just like the word version of peekaboo. Like, you just never know what's going to happen. They're completely unpredictable, nursery rhymes are, but still. I just tried to finish reading the nonsense section with things like Lewis Carroll and Edward Lear. Let it be known yet again that I like things realistic and things that make sense. This is why I'm not an Alice in Wonderland fan. Sorry. Moving on. It's also probably fair to mention, going off one that we talked about yesterday with the nonsense things, that I've been told that even as a child, I didn't really like anthropomorphic animals. No, animals that talk, didn't act like humans. That freaks me out a little bit. In fact, I think the only book that we're going to see like that is Wind in the Willows, which is a rare and strange exception, and I guess we'll find out why later. But that's another me preference kind of thing. Looking over the picture books, it's really cute. Of course, there's no pictures in here, which would totally help everything. There's a selection of Dr. Seuss that I'd never heard of before. And you know, that's really strange when you haven't heard of Dr. Seuss. So anyway, what was it called? It was called The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins. I'd never heard of that before. Anyway, there was also another really cute story in here called Millions of Cats by Wanda. It's Gag, but there's an asterisk thing above the A, so maybe it's Gag. Anyway, but the thing that's repeated over and over again in the story is this little line here. Cats here, cats there, cats and kittens everywhere, hundreds of cats, thousands of cats, millions and billions and trillions of cats. And that's just so much fun to say. It's adorable. I just read the fables section, and for your information, I like fables. Fables are fun. There's like a lot of like Aesop in here, and then there's some like Buddhist fables and some Hindu fables. They're really interesting, and there's one in here that's kind of like a Chicken Little type thing, except it's a hare. A hare, like a bunny hair. And she's like, oh no, the world's going to end, oh no. And then everybody's like, oh, she said the world was going to end. Maybe the world is going to end. Oh no. And then everybody freaks out. And then Buddha calms them all down because he's so wise and wonderful. So, that's the fables section. I like fables. Fables are awesome. Folktale section is the one that I'm going to get stuck on because they're all so good, but like you don't want to read a bunch of them all at once because you just want to give them their due. And look how big look how big the pages are. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to end the video. I will not have finished the book, but I will continue to read it over the course, like when I have some downtime, you know, and oh, I should show you what we're going to do next week, because I am going to keep reading. I'm going to read an actual book, though. It's a little different than a book. I ordered this one. It's out of print, and I was very, very happy to get it, because it's really, really, really good. I'll just show you the whole thing. There it is. Look. Pirates.